Tintin XL 92.5 FM.
Welcome in. Thanks so much for being with us on the Frangie Show. Frank on vacation. He'll be back on Monday. I'm Hayes Carline. Please be joined with Hacker, who's kind enough to sit in really since Tuesday. I hope it hadn't been too bad for you, Iron Man.
No, not at all. I thoroughly enjoyed it and glad to be back again today.
Well, we certainly appreciate it. JJ is here. JJ, how are you? Staying dry?
Yeah, thankfully I've just been locked in here all day,
Yeah.
so I am dry.
It started. You could see it rolling. It's been a while since we've had rain.
Prime time got hit like right at the end of the show.
Yeah.
It was perfect timing.
Yeah, it was good. It was good. What do they say? We needed it. So.
One of my lasting
Rain
memories.
makes corn makes whiskey.
Yeah, 23 years of memories, but one that I shared with you on this radio station. Remember when we were at UNF? And we saw the storm coming.
Yeah,
that was unbelievable.
That was just this spring.
Yeah, it was about a year ago, right? And you could just see it coming. And we're thinking, I wonder if that's going to hold off till the end of the show. And it did not.
It did not. We were standing in ankle-deep water with electrical cords around us.
Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah, it was
a lasting memory.
But you lived to tell about it.
By the way, I was cracking up, and not to laugh at your pain, Hacker, but it was so hilarious to me last night. So. In break, we're talking about, you and JJ start talking about the Magic.
Yeah.
And you're like, and JJ's like, who you guys got tonight? And he's like, and you say, well, we've got Houston, which means Kevin Durant's going to rip our heart out again. And so it's like midnight, and I just happened to sort of be going through ESPN, and I see that the Magic lose a 19-point lead because Durant went like crazy. And I'm like, man, Hacker called it to his detriment, but he absolutely called exactly what was going to happen.
Not only did we lose a 19-point lead, the Rockets went on a 21-0 run after said 19-point lead. I turned heel last night on the Magic. I've been a fan, and I blame my uncle for this.
NWO.
Yes, I blame my uncle for this. He dragged me to the Orlando Arena in 1989, and I've been a Magic fan ever since. And I have had pain and suffering for the last 3.5 decades. So I did what I normally do when I'm venting on social media last night. I brought up the fact the Magic, they've only won 38% of their games dating back to the start of 2012.
That's hard to believe.
It takes character. It builds character to be an Orlando Magic fan because that team just won't ever be good. I continue to root for them, and I guess it's to my detriment, but it was
and they had
very
a
frustrating.
lot of hope going into this year, right? That they were going to at least be formidable.
Their best three players.
And the East was wide open because of the injuries, right?
Their best three players, Wagner, Suggs, and Banchero, combined, they've started 14% of the games over the last 2 years.
Well, there you go.
They can't stay healthy to save their life.
Yeah, and that's an issue with the franchise going all the way back to Grant Hill.
Oh my gosh, it's been unbelievable.
Yeah, so let's set the scene for you. We got a great Frangie show coming up. We're going to be joined by our scholar athlete in our next segment. We'll certainly look forward to that. And then ESPN's Michael DeRocco, D-Rock's going to join us to talk about the Jaguars. And then we'll have Pete Prisco at 5:15 talking NFL Combine and the Jaguars as well. Want to thank JU for having us out yesterday. We had a great time. The Dolphins did beat Stetson 89-85, so great win for Jordan Mincy's troops as they get ready for the A-Sun tournament next week. UNF also won last night, defeating Florida Gulf Coast 76-70, which sets up an exciting rumble tomorrow. So best of luck to both those squads. We'll get into Gator basketball as well. I want to talk about the Jaguars to start with because we had the weirdest media availability that we've had since I started covering the team today, which, was in 2013. So, you sort of see a lot in this league over that amount of time. So, obviously, the franchise has always talked at the Combine. They've always gone to the Combine. They've always talked at the Combine. This year, they didn't want to go to the Combine, which was fine. Totally their right. But it always became a thing of, well, who was going to talk? How are they going to do it? Is no one going to talk? So today they decided to have on the record for a little bit with James Gladstone, the GM, and Tony Boselli, the EVP. Liam Cohen was not going to be part of this. And then the rest of it would be off the record discussion. And so Gladstone starts it and goes on for probably about a good 10-minute opening statement about why they're not going to the Combine, the reasoning behind, the bias of it and things like that. And then as he's telling us something about bias, he says, now this is off the record. He's getting ready to tell us just a small nugget from his experience with the Rams. But then the PR like shuts it, like the rest of it, because that's like becomes, even though he was just mentioning like one specific thing, one example that he didn't want published, like they interpret it like, okay, now everything is off the record. So we get a transcript. It's not even a transcript. We get like a statement. So we had like a 10-minute like lengthy explanation of this, which then they emailed out just about 10 minutes ago, and they cut it to where it's now just a statement from Gladstone, which I'll read to you now. This is the Jaguars PR emailing this out to the reporters that were there. It was probably 8 of us, something like that. And this is the statement from James Gladstone on. So this is really the only information we can give the fans on the approach to this week, why they didn't go and stuff like that. So this is the statement from James Gladstone. The Combine is a significant annual event on the NFL calendar, one that we value greatly. The information and data gathered in Indianapolis are integral to our process. We have significant and influential personnel in Indianapolis, inclusive of our scouts conducting interviews with a full allotment of prospects, and our medical staff is, of course, present and gathering player data. Every piece of information or video that we need from the NFL Combine is at our disposal, which allows us to make appropriate decisions on behalf of the Jaguars organization. I look forward to continued collaboration between our scouting and coaching staffs as we build our team for 2026 and beyond. So, I mean, obviously that doesn't, do much for the fans there. Here's one thing. This was my biggest takeaway from Gladstone's like 10-minute statement that was on the record. They are fluid in how they will go about the Combine in years to come. Now, I mean, my guess is I doubt it will change much, but he did allow that, look, we may in a year decide to change it. But, part of Gladstone's process is testing and things like that, and doing unconventional things. And obviously we know the Rams didn't go to the Combine. That's why the Jaguars didn't go, because the Rams don't go. That's it. This is basically a carbon copy of what the Rams were doing, which, look, that's the nature of the league. But it was such a peculiar way in which it ended up being handled. So anyway, so that's really all we can give you. We're sorry. We wish we could give you more. We wish we could, have Liam Cohen talking about his coaching staff and getting Udinski and Campanile back, and Devin Lloyd and Etienne and other free agents and Brian Thomas Jr. and things like that. But we have to honor what we're given. And this statement is all we're going to get from the Jaguars, while pretty much every other club outside of, I think, the New Orleans Saints pretty much had their coach and GM available either in Indianapolis or with their local reporters. So, I'm kind of saying this to say, I'm sorry we don't have more for you, this week, because in every other market, there is a litany of material. I mean, they don't give away their plan, but I mean, it's been what it's been. I mean, we're all used to it. We're all used to the coach and GM speaking at the podium, and there's a lot of stuff that, helps the fans understand where they are. We didn't get that this year. So this statement is what we have, and, I at least apologize for that.
Well, it's like the Las Vegas Raiders. John Spytek, their GM, took the podium earlier this week saying he expects Max Crosby to be a Las Vegas Raider. You had the Indianapolis contingent up there in Indy say Anthony Richardson has been granted permission to seek a trade. Nick Caserio of Houston saying it's moronic to think we're going to trade C.J. Stroud. I mean, every organization outside Jacksonville and I guess L.A. and New Orleans, like you said, has given their fans something to think about this week before free agency. Now, I have no doubt we'll probably hear from Liam Cohen and James Gladstone at some point after the initial free agent wave. But right now, I mean, you look at the Jaguars situation, the NFL finalized the salary cap today, right? $301 million.
Yep.
And the way it stands right now, Jacksonville, we're 11 days away from free agency. Actually, no, we're 10 days away from free agency. 10 days. And the Jaguars are almost $16 million over the cap. There's going to be news coming out next week of finagling contracts, things along those lines, because the Jaguars have to get rid of $16 million some way over the next 10 days prior to the league calendar beginning.
Right. And so obviously that will involve either there's two ways to go about that. You cut guys, you trade guys, or you restructure guys. So, they'll have to take one of those paths, and we'll see which avenue they travel, to get under and get cap compliant. Obviously, we'll talk about Florida basketball as well coming up on the Frangie Show. Unbelievably important game tomorrow night. Huge day for the program in general with game day there. Again, these are opportunities. The next portal class, many of them are probably watching game day, tomorrow morning if they don't have a game that they're getting ready for. And so I think it's obviously it's fun for Gator fans, but what a monumental opportunity for Florida, which I still view as like a fledgling power in college basketball. I don't know why. I can't get to Florida's a blue blood. You know what I mean? Because they were just awful as a program until basically 1994, which is still, for me, being 49, that's still like a lot of my early life. They had years here and there, but they just weren't what they are now, which is one of the best programs in the country. But it's a huge day tomorrow for Florida with the exposure that being on game day gives them. And then obviously 8:30 at night, the chance to conceivably wrap up the SEC title if Alabama loses at Tennessee in the 6:00 game prior to Florida starting at 8:30.
Where you got Florida 13-2 in the conference, Arkansas 11-4, combined records of 24-6. I did the Gator Bites podcast with Patrick Young earlier this morning, and Patrick, who works on the SEC network as well, he's seen all of these teams. He said, in his opinion, there's no doubt these are the two best teams in the conference going at it tomorrow in Florida and Arkansas. It's a great opportunity for Florida. It's a great opportunity for Arkansas, too, because, think about it. Everybody's talking about the Gators. Everybody's talking about Charles Bediako and the Alabama saga. Vanderbilt got love early in the year. Tennessee's gotten love recently. Arkansas, even with John Calipari and even with Acuff, who's probably going to be the freshman of the year in the country, they have relatively been under the radar. So as much of an opportunity as it is for Florida with the exposure, it's a big opportunity for Arkansas to come on the national scene prior to the NCAA tournament.
If Arkansas gets that win, it bumps them up a seed at a minimum. Yeah. It bumps them up at least one line on the bracket, if not more. This Arkansas team is a lot like his Kentucky teams. It took them a while. Their two primary guards are true freshmen, Acuff, and the other one that's averaging like 15 a game that's a great three-point shooter. But they remind me a lot of the Calipari teams that Kentucky would take some time to get going, but once they gelled, they were very difficult to beat because obviously he recruits at the highest level in the country. So, the roster, is going to be long, athletic, fast, length, all that stuff that you could possibly want in a basketball team. And this team has it. I am stunned Florida is a 10.5 point favorite in this game.
Yeah, that's
stunned.
A lot. Yeah, Arkansas is probably the one team in the SEC, or one of few certainly, that can probably match up with Florida in the front court. I think Florida's front court's better because I think Florida has the best front court in America. But that's going to be a battle tomorrow. Arkansas's got some bigs that can do a lot of damage. Now, the one thing about Arkansas, though, they're less deep than Florida. Florida plays 8 guys. Arkansas plays 7. So attrition tomorrow is going to be a big deal. Whichever team gets in early foul trouble is going to have a big problem the rest of the game.
Yeah, without a doubt. When we come back on the Frangie Show, let's introduce you to this week's scholar athlete. That is Kyla Skinner of Mandarin High School. We will do that next. You're listening to 1010XL 92.5 FM.
It's the ride home with the Frangie Show from the Harrell and Harrell studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
It's Jacksonville's Super Bowl of golf. If you can't make it to the players, let 1010XL bring the players to you with Southeast Orthopedic Specialist leaderboard updates. Teed up by
Purple Heart Pools,
Universal Roof and Contracting,
and Kuhn Flowers.
Mark Watson with Hardball Creative. If you have a school, team, or group that would benefit from a team store, you're in luck because we now offer team stores. Check us out at hardballcreative.com.
Hardball Creative. Hardball does it all.
I'm Holt Harrell with Harrell and Harrell. Choosing a law firm after an accident is an important decision. With so many messages, we know it can all sound the same. At Harrell & Harrell, we believe what sets us apart is our commitment to you. We'll help you find doctors to get you better, and we'll work hard to maximize any recovery. Visit our website and look at our reviews to see how we've helped people just like you make this important decision. Harrell & Harrell. Offices, Jacksonville.
Hey friends, Frangie here. A new year is the perfect time to make sure your car is ready for the road ahead. And nothing gives you more confidence than a fresh set of tires from my friends at Big Chief Tire. I've trusted them for years. They take great care of me, and they'll take great care of you. Start 2026 with a smoother, safer ride. Visit WeKeepJacksRollin.com or call 904-932-0950 today and let Big Chief get you rolling.
Before the Gators tip off, get tips from the great Gator. Patrick Young has breakfast with the Drill Friday mornings at 8:30, and they're talking Gators hoops. Take time out with Patrick Young. Tipped off by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists on 1010XL.
Attention sports fans! Are you ready to take your game to the next level? Look no further than Best Bet. You can bet anywhere, but you'll definitely win here. Experience the thrill of sports like never before. With all the big games broadcasting live on our big screens and a menu stacked with your favorite foods and refreshing drinks, you're sure to find your winning ticket. Bet anywhere, win here, only at Best Bet. Visit bestbetjacks.com to learn more. That's bestbetjacks.com.
Discover downtown Jacksonville's newest go-to spot. Pour Tap Room Jacksonville brings you 2 floors of over 80 self-pour craft beers, wines and cocktails, plus live sports, live music, and private event space. And right next door, Pizza Dynamo fires up made-to-order pizzas, slices and calzones packed with bold flavor. Pair a pint with a fresh pie at Pizza Dynamo and Pour Tap Room, downtown at Laura and Forsyth.
The Players' Championship returns to TPC Sawgrass March 10th through 15th. Experience golf's most iconic stage with enhanced food and beverage offerings, interactive fan attractions, and an atmosphere built for every type of fan. See the best players in the world, including world #1 Scotty Scheffler, 2025 champion Rory McIlroy, and fan favorite Brooks Koepka take on the legendary Stadium Course and the famous Island Green. Tickets available at theplayers.com.
We don't have too many cold nights on the First Coast, but when the temperature drops, you want to hit the heat button and warm up. That's where Florida Home comes in. They're the AC experts in Jacksonville, and the importance of keeping your heating system in good working order is really important. If it stops working when it gets cooler, Florida Home will leap into action and provide you with the best solution. Heater and heat pump repair service and new system installation. They do it all. Just call Florida Home AC at 777-4300, the official heating and AC partner of the Jaguars.
Are you in the doghouse or maybe have a special occasion soon? It's funny how Kuhn Flowers can take care of any situation. Max Fink here, and anytime I've needed to make her happy, I rely on Kuhn Flowers to make that happiness happen. There's only one, KuhnFlowers.com.
Living on Amelia Island, having fun in Bernardino Beach? No matter what brings you to the fun, cozy town, make sure you check out the tap room at Mocama Beer Company. With a full flight of craft creations, from the Cosmico IPA to the Motor, the perfect pilsners and lagers, matching memories and some Mocama magic is what it's all about. Mocama Beer Company in Bernardino Beach, near the big water where the sun is born. And look for more Mocama craft at your local Total Wine or ABC Liquors.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. When it's game time, Farah doesn't flinch. And now, this week's Scholar Athlete of the Week, brought to you by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists and the Plumbers and Pipefitters Local Union 234 on 1010XL.
We are delighted to bring in this week's Scholar Athlete. It is Kyla Skinner from Mandarin High School. Kyla, thank you so much for joining us today, and congratulations.
Thank you, and thank you for having me.
Sure thing. What an amazing academic and athletic career you've had at Mandarin. Let's start with the sports component of that. You're a outstanding track and field athlete. Tell us the events you run and which one is your favorite, and how you've become so proficient in all these events.
I run the 400, 200, and 100, and my favorite event is the 200 because the 100 is a little short, it's short and sweet. Like there's no room for mistakes, and the 400 is just kind of long and dreadful. So the 200 is like the sweet spot, and I've grown to be successful in track and field. One, primarily because of coaches, and two, surrounding myself around great athletes and having discipline and pushing myself towards my goals and just kind of remembering those goals helped me to improve and sustain my good athletics.
You're an unbelievable student, an unbelievable athlete. We got a million things we could ask you about, but let's not bury the lead. You're going to Harvard. You're going to Harvard to run track and to be a student at Harvard. What was that experience like applying to go to Harvard? And once you got accepted, knowing you're going to be able to go there on scholarship, that had to be unbelievable.
It was stressful. The process was definitely stressful, trying to maintain my athletics while also trying to like fill out the application and then get all my recommendations, just go through that long process and making sure everything was right academically because you truly never know. Like they could just say no academically, but like everything's right athletically, or if things went on a landslide athletically, but everything was right academically. So it was like either or. It was just like a very stressful experience, and I'm finally happy to say that I'm in and that everything is good to go.
What was it like going up to Cambridge for your visit?
It was so fun. I did not want to leave. So aside from like the good academics and the great athletics as well, Harvard, like the energy on campus is so amazing. It's like everyone's so driven, but like their academics is not everything about them. They all have personality and everyone is so unique in what they're passionate about and what drives them every day. So it was just honestly amazing.
You know, you look at the clubs that you're in, National Honor Society, Fellowship of Christian Athletes, Student Leadership Team. I mean, when did you know that you wanted to be a part of all of this in high school? Because for a high school athlete, a student that's very accomplished, obviously, all your extracurricular activities are really impressive.
Well, it's honestly just because I'm a really social person. So I'm just a social butterfly. So when I seen an opportunity to join a club, I'm like, ooh, that looks fun. Ooh, that looks fun. And it all gets accumulated and became my profile.
Kyle, how do you go? What's like a week of training in season look like for you? Because I mean, again, it's not just that you're running these events. You're a state medalist. You're a school record holder. So give us a sense of what's like a normal week of training for you to be so great in the 100, the 200, and the 400.
So we practice every day, well, Monday through Friday. And then usually we compete on Saturdays or maybe like a Friday or Thursday. So practice starts at 2:30 and then I'll probably make it home around 6 and then I do homework until whenever I go to sleep. So that's like my normal practice week. We start off with sprints on Mondays and then we'll have our harder workouts on either Tuesdays or Thursdays. So it's just a matter of making sure I get the right recovery, I eat the right things when I get home and just kind of managing my time in every aspect so that everything like kind of aligns.
A couple of more for Kyla Skinner of Mandarin High School, and I'm a Wolfson guy, so it kind of pains me to say this. What's in the water on Greenland Road? You're an All-American going to Harvard. Bryson Wright was everywhere after that flag football, just unbelievable performance. Carson Beck just played for a national championship. You got two guys just played in the Super Bowl, including Pop Douglas for the New England Patriots. I mean, the lineage of Mandarin athletes is absolutely incredible.
I think it's just the standard. That's the standard at our school is to like work hard and get it done. We have amazing coaches. And then at the top of everything, we have Coach Rado. Coach Rado is amazing. He always reassures us as athletes and keeps us moving, keeps us going, helps us push ourselves, make sure everything's in line. And it all just kind of works out. And like you said, when you see one athlete doing well, or you see one team doing well, it kind of pushes you more. So it's like iron sharpens iron. So when like one person's doing well, it pushes all athletic teams to do well to kind of uphold the name of Mandarin High School.
Kyla, tell us what the plan will be at Harvard. What would you like to study and what do you hope to do with that?
I hope to major in economics and then kind of minor in government so that I can go to law school.
Fantastic. Well, congratulations for all your success and certainly best of luck moving forward. We'll be thrilled to hear about your progress.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us. When we come back on The Frangie Show, Let's talk a little Jaguars with our friend Michael DeRocco D-Rock from ESPN. We will do that next. You're listening to 1010XL 92.5 FM.
The Frangie Show from the Harold and Harold studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
Live streaming from the XL Digital Studios. Brightened by Harbor Dental Care, Jacksonville's first choice for dental emergencies.
Tusk, the classic tribute to Fleetwood Mac. Friday, March 6th at Florida Theater. Playing the hits and deep cuts of Rock and Roll Hall of Famers Fleetwood Mac. An unforgettable show with the iconic music you love. On sale now at floridatheater.com. Don't miss Tusk. Recreating the Fleetwood Mac experience like no other.
All right, folks, our private equity fund just bought another one in Jacksonville.
Love it. Let's make sure the website says locally trusted.
Should we change the number to a Florida area code?
Nah, just pretend we're local.
Meanwhile, Holland Sons Plumbing didn't need a rebrand to stay local. We're family-owned, veteran-operated, and proud to call Jacksonville home. So if you want a plumber who actually lives in your neighborhood, not in a boardroom, call Holland Sons Plumbing. Holland Sons Plumbing. Locally owned, nationally unbothered.
Frank Frangie here for South State Bank. South State has helped our businesses and charity grow and thrive. Whether you're expanding your operations, managing cash flow, or planning for the future, South State Bank offers forward-thinking, tailored solutions to meet your unique business needs. With expert guidance and best-in-class service, South State is here to help you move your business forward. Visit southstatebank.com or stop by your local branch today. Let South State become your partner in taking your business to the next level. That's South State Bank, member FDIC.
The riders who face Daytona Supercross are built different. Withstanding the most unforgiving and grueling track is not just a point of pride, but of pure grit and determination. This battle can only be felt in person. Witness the action unfold at the only place in Florida where the biggest names will battle it out under the lights. Daytona Supercross is built different. It's built for champions. It's built for fans. The gate drops Saturday, February 28th. There's only one place to be. Secure your tickets and trackside access at DaytonaInternationalSpeedway.com.
Mark your calendar for Friday, April 17th at the Yards for the second annual Birdies and Bounces, presented by the Mackenzie Noel Wilson Foundation. This premier golf and pickleball tournament brings together competition, community, and purpose for an unforgettable day on the course and courts. Proceeds benefit the Boys and Girls Clubs of Northeast Florida, helping create great futures for local kids. Register or learn more at bgcnf.org and click events. Join us for a day of fun and impact for youth in our community.
Go to the green every Saturday morning.
Happy learned how to putt.
And get golf tips and talk to help make your golf game more fun on the Edwin Watts Golf Hour, Saturday morning at 10 on 1010XL.
When it comes to glass, you don't want average. You want flawless. Duval Glass and Mirror has transformed homes and businesses across Jacksonville for over 35 years. Frameless showers that wow. Mirrors cut exactly to your style. Fogged or broken glass replaced. Decorative tabletops. Windows replaced or repaired to stand up to Florida storms. All backed by a 100% guarantee. Visit DuvalGlass.com for your free quote. There's only one name for glass and mirror around these parts. It's Duval.
Help your loved one fall back in love with his or her home with a home improvement from the professionals at the Lifetime family.
That's right, Nick. Happy Valentine's Day to all the lovebirds out there. What says I love you more than adding additional space with a glass or screen enclosure that will enhance your home's livability, or brand new floors that dramatically improve the look and feel of your home?
That's right. New outdoor living space from Lifetime Enclosures and beautiful floors from Lifetime Flooring.
Come experience the Lifetime difference. Call or visit one of our showrooms today for our Valentine's Day specials throughout February.
Lifetime Enclosures.
Hey, it's Travis from Cannons of Jacks. When you need a trailer hitch, gooseneck, or RV towing options, call us at Cannons. We've been doing it for 55 years, and customer service is our #1 priority. Visit cannonsofjacks.com.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Focused, fueled, fearless, Farah. Here's another call on the 1010XL hotline, driven by Key Buick GMC, home of the lifetime powertrain warranty.
Welcome back to the Frangie Show. Frank on vacation this week, but he'll be back on Monday. Hacker is here. JJ is here. I am Hayes Carline. We are pleased to be joined with D-Rock, ESPN's Michael DeRocco, our good buddy. Always kind enough to give us some time. D-Rock, how you doing?
I'm good, fellas. How are you?
Good. So I described it as we opened the show. I was the weirdest media availability that they've had since I started covering them in 2013. What did you make of what we, I guess, had today at the Miller Electric Center with James Gladstone and Tony Boselli?
Yeah, I don't know if it's the weirdest I've ever had. We've had a lot of weird ones covering this franchise, haven't we? But yeah, I mean, good to get a thinking, a view into sort of the way that they think a little bit on some stuff. I understand why they're not at the combine. It's yeah, I just kind of struggling a little bit here to kind of describe it too as well. It was definitely interesting and different, but I think I think it would have been better had we been able to talk to them earlier in the week. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I was surprised that like Liam didn't talk.
Yeah, I don't. I think Liam's either afraid of us or hates us or something. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Yeah, I don't. I know he's around. I know he's looking at prospects and getting ready for the draft and all that other stuff and figuring out what kind of adjustments he's got to make to the scheme or what have you and all that other stuff. It's just I guess he's just not going to be a part of be in front of us for this kind of stuff. That's just going to be James and Tony going forward. But,
yeah. So forgetting today, which didn't help, I don't think anybody that attended it. As we move, like now looking at free agency and things like that, what is your? Let's just start with ETN. Javonte Williams got a deal done with Dallas. It looked fairly reasonable. Do you get a sense that maybe that opens the door a little bit for ETN here, or do you think that it's in all likelihood ETN is playing somewhere else next fall?
No, I do think it makes it a little bit more interesting for ETN here because is that a glimpse of what the running back market is going to be? Because Breece Hall is still out there. They haven't tagged him. He's scheduled to become a free agent. But if they do tag Breece Hall, the Jets, then that's another guy off the market. That might drive the price up a little bit. So I still don't think he's back. I think he would like to go, just based on all the conversations that we've all had with him, I think he wants to go out there and make as much as he possibly can. And you don't blame him for that. And I think that that's going to be elsewhere. I don't think that that's going to be he's going to get the number that he wants here. Now, the Jags would love to have him back, absolutely, but I don't think he's going to get the number that he wants here.
Mike DiRocco, ESPN.com. D-Rock, first and foremost, happy birthday, my friend.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very
Today is
much.
your birthday?
Today is my birthday. Yep.
How about? I feel bad. I'm sorry. Happy birthday. I'm not on any of the Facebook stuff.
Not only are we graced with D-Rock's presence, but he's doing it on his birthday.
How about that? I'm sorry. I wouldn't have asked you on your birthday had I known.
Oh, no problem. Look,
it's not every day you turn 33.
I was going to say 38, but I appreciate 33. I'll take that.
So, Mike, when it comes to Devin Lloyd, obviously Lloyd and ETN have been the two big ones. To me, the bigger question about Lloyd is not will he be back, but who is going to replace him? It seems like a foregone conclusion that Lloyd is gone in the next week and a half to the highest bidder. So my question to you is it Ventrell Miller, is it Jack Kaiser, or is Lloyd's replacement not currently on the roster?
I don't even think the Jags know if Ventrell Miller and Jack Kaiser are up to replacing Devin Lloyd. So I think if you're the Jags and you're going into the offseason with that thought, then I think you have to bring somebody else in outside. That doesn't mean that that's going to be the guy they pick at 56 or it's going to be a guy they sign in free agency, although I wouldn't be surprised if they did sign a linebacker in free agency. I don't think it's going to be Quay Walker. But if you don't know 100% for sure, then that's a big hole that they're going to have to fill. And I think we'll see, like I said, I wouldn't be surprised. They brought in a lower end linebacker. not lower end, but like a lower price linebacker, sort of along the lines of the guys they brought in last year, like Eric Murray and Jordan Lewis, and then they draft one as well, because they've got to have somebody that they trust in that spot. And, Devin Lloyd had a phenomenal year. I don't think you can expect any of these guys to have the same kind of year, but you want some dependability and reliability there. And, I think the guy might not be on the roster, or he might be on the roster, but they're going to bring guys in because they've got to find an answer.
What do you think happens with Brian Thomas Jr.? You think he's just here and plays his third year, or do you think if they got the right call, then maybe he could be moved?
I think everybody's expendable and could be moved if they got the right call. I don't know that they're going to get the right call for Brian Thomas Jr. because they clearly do like Brian Thomas. They like, look, were they happy with the way the first half of that season unfolded with him? Absolutely not. I mean, we saw his unwillingness to go over the middle, some issues with his hands, 5 drops, I think, in the first 6 games. That duck in the end zone against Cincinnati was not good either. But once they kind of figured out the best way to use him, for sure the offense opened up a little bit. And look, you go to that Broncos game, and who was Pat Surtain going to take? Was it going to be Jacoby Myers? Was it going to be Brian? He was almost exclusively on Brian Thomas Jr. So BT still scares the hell out of opposing defenses, which I guess you would expect with 4.3 speed. So I think he'll be here. I don't know that it's going to take a really good offer for them to be willing to part with him. But I think he'll be here. They like the mix of him and Myers and Parker Washington, and then, mixing in Travis Hunter, as he gets healthier and more comfortable with the offense.
D-Rock, the crazy thing about the offseason is if you fast forward a year from now, guys that are scheduled to hit free agency in 2027 include Trayvon Walker, Parker Washington, Brenton Strange, Antonio Johnson, and Anton Harrison, unless they pick up the 5th-year option, which they probably will. So I'll exclude Anton for a moment. But of those other 4, Trayvon, Parker, Brenton, and I'll throw Antonio Johnson in there, would you expect those guys to get extensions this offseason?
I would expect Parker Washington to get an extension either this offseason or during the season. Same thing for Brenton Strange. Not 100% sure on Antonio Johnson at this point. Caleb Ransaw, we're going to get a real good look at. But, I mean, if Antonio Johnson plays at the level this year that he did last year, then I can see him getting an extension during the season. I don't know about Trayvon yet. I think what they're going to do is they're going to let the whole season play out and then make a determination on what they're going to do with Trayvon Walker. I think, look, it's a deep edge rushing class in this draft. That's what's been reported. Multiple people have talked about that. So, they're going to try and do some work there as well. I just don't really have a good feel for what they might want to do with Trayvon Walker at this point. He's a really, really good player. I think we know that. Is he Aiden Hutchinson? No. But last year he fought through a knee and a wrist injury and deserves a lot of credit for that. So that earned him a lot of extra respect, not that he didn't have any to begin with inside that building. But I think he needs a really, really good season. I think he needs to be up there among 10, 11 sacks again. But I don't have a feel right now to whether he'd be on the team after 26 or at this point anyway.
The league announced that the salary cap is going to come in at $301.2 million. The Jags are roughly $16 million over. What do you think are the avenues that they will take to get cap compliant over the next 10 days?
Yeah, there's going to have to be some restructures for sure. I wonder about Eric Armstead being here. The only issue with Armstead looking at his contract is, they can save, I think, $14 million with Armstead if they were to release him for whatever reason, but it would have to be a post-June 1 designation, which means you don't get the salary cap space until June 1st. So I think they only save a little over 2 if they release him, before then. But they're going to have to do some of that restructuring because they've got to get under, and they need some for the rookie class as well. I mean, potentially there could be 11 guys. They've got 11 draft picks. So they're going to have to create a little bit of space. But again, I mean, we say that it's relatively easy for them to do. I mean, the cap is sort of very, very easily manipulated. So I don't expect that to be a problem for them. I mean, we'll see when they come in right as the league year starts. They'll have plenty of space because they, got to have some room to sign some guys too.
Mike DeRocco, ESPN.com. D-Rock, as we wrap up, obviously Devin Lloyd, Travis Etienne, the two big free agents. I think most people at this point believe both guys will be gone. A lot of other guys are going to hit the market in 10 days, from Monteric Brown to Greg Newsome, Dennis Gardeck, Andrew Wingard, Tim Patrick. I mean, there's a lot of guys scheduled to be free agents. In your opinion, who are the priorities out of those to be brought back here by the Jaguars?
I think Monteric Brown would be pretty high on that list. Good starting cornerback, good zone corner. They like the way that he's developed. If you look at his play over the last 2 years in particular, certainly on an upswing. And I was looking something up for him actually earlier this morning, and I think among cornerbacks with at least 200 coverage snaps, he had the 6th or 7th best passer rating against among all corners. So, I mean, I think he was even better than maybe some of us realize. So I think he'll be at the top of the list. Dennis Gardeck is a guy they would like to have back. And I get a sense that he probably will be. I don't know that there's going to be a big market for Dennis Gardeck. So I think if he wants to come back here and the Jags want him back, which I think they do, then I think we'll see him back.
D-Rock, I really appreciate you joining us on your birthday. I feel bad.
No, look.
In fairness, D-Rock was going to join us yesterday. And then I asked him, would you rather go Friday? Because I thought we were going to have an illuminating Jaguars availability. As it turned out, all we have to publicly react to is like a 3-sentence statement that the team sent out from James Gladstone. But you are such a good friend, and obviously you have been that for a very long time. So I appreciate you. Are you seeing Scream 7 tonight? What are we doing for the birthday?
I am not. I have we have birthday dinner scheduled tonight, and then I have a wedding to go to tomorrow, and then possibly Scream 7 on Sunday. We'll see how that goes.
All right, and tell the fans where they can read your work.
Yeah, obviously you can get me on X at ESPNDIROCCO, and then NFL.com. Good Lord. We own NFL.com now. ESPN.com. And go to the NFL page and find the Jaguars clubhouse. All my stuff is there. So, my birthday quit feeling special after 21. At that point, I was like, what's left to look forward to? You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's a good point. That's sort of where we're all, I think, at. But
as long as I'm on this side of the grass,
that's right.
Fine.
Absolutely. Well, D-Rock, thank you so much. We really appreciate it. Have a wonderful birthday, and look forward to catching up with you soon.
All right, talk to you guys. Thanks for having me, bud.
All right, sure thing. When we come back on the Frangie Show, we'll keep it on the Jaguars. You're listening to 1010XL, 92.5 FM.
It's the ride home with the Frangie Show from the Harold and Harold studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
There's a reason why people love to listen to play-by-play on the radio.
This is unbelievable what we're witnessing. I'm serious.
1010XL, Jacksonville's home for play-by-play.
Hey, it's Carline here for Atlantic Infinity. I am loving my new QX60. It's the greatest car I've ever had. Right now, you can lease one or lock in just 1.9% financing for 60 months. And every new Infinity comes with the Atlantic Infinity Promise. That's over $7,000 in added value. That's one of many reasons why I bought mine there. There's no pressure, there's no games, just a great experience. Do what I did. Make your next ride an Infinity from Atlantic Infinity. Visit AtlanticInfinity.com or visit the showroom near Atlantic in St. John's Bluff.
Indoor golf in Ponte Vedra is here. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Play the best courses in the world at Back 9 Golf. top simulators, analytics to improve your game, or just have a blast with friends or a client. Get this, you can bring your own beverages, including cocktails. Go to back9golf.com, book a tee time today. Membership opportunities, lessons, Back9 Golf in Ponte Vedra, next to Nice High School. Back9 Golf, where golf never sleeps.
This is Hayes Carline from my friend Holt at Harrell & Harrell. There doesn't seem to be enough time in the day to get everything done. Then you get injured in an accident and you don't know what you're going to do. Let Harrell & Harrell make it easy for you. Easy on becoming a client. You can just text or email if you want. Easy on finding a doctor and getting through the process. Hopefully you won't need them, but if you're ever injured, call Harrell & Harrell and make it easy on yourself. Call them at 904-251-1111. That's 251-1111.
He's our Big Mac.
Woo! It's Smash Mouth football, baby!
Tom McManus brings his big opinions to Jaguars Today.
Every Friday morning at 10 a.m. on 1010 XL.
Protected by Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors.
I'm with Greg from Cycles of Jacksonville, and you've got some really cool events coming up in your showroom on Atlantic near Regency.
We've got some exciting things. All new Euro motorcycle, fresh out of the box. I've never seen it. Some demo days. We got Sully here to give us the detail.
Yes, so March 12th from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. we have a Euro demo day. Come out, test ride, and see if this is your next bike you're going to get.
Very exciting stuff. All new Euro. You're going to want to see this. Everybody loves sidecars.
Want more details? Check out Cycles of Jacksonville on Facebook and their Instagram page.
Hi, I'm Sean Monahan from Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach. Since 1977, we've been Jacksonville's local family jeweler with a beautiful selection of fine jewelry and certified diamonds. But we're also Jacksonville's leading buyer of gold, silver, and diamonds from the public. Gold has recently hit an all-time high at over $5,000 per ounce, and silver is over $100 per ounce. Pay bills, buy something fun. Now is the time to sell your gold and silver for cash and get top dollar, or trade it in for a new piece and get even more at Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach.
And that concludes the Joe C. Jack of All Trades show. Tune in next week where I'll be installing my own French drain.
Joe, wake up, man.
Hey, John, I must have dozed off.
We finished those projects you started.
Whoa, my seamless gutters are actually seamless.
And they're connected into underground PVC drain lines.
And my sprinklers. Wow, look at that coverage.
Next time, just call me first, Joe.
I will, but I ain't singing that song.
Clearwater irrigation
and drainage too.
Frank Frangie here for Coil Fencing. Since 1927, Jacksonville has trusted Coil Fencing to protect what matters. And I trust them too. From tough chain link to your commercial project to sleek aluminum fencing your HOA will love, Coil does it all. Did you know that Coil can also install, service, and maintain those automatic gates that help protect your neighborhood or business? To schedule a complimentary consultation, visit CoilJacks.com. That's COYLE Jacks.com. Coil Fencing, A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Still present, ready. Farah doesn't flinch.
It's a Big Chief Tire Friday on The Frangie Show. For all of your tires and automotive service needs, it's Big Chief Tire.
We certainly appreciate our friends at Big Chief Tire. Welcome back to the Frangie Show. Frank on vacation. He'll be back on Monday. Hacker sitting in, which we certainly appreciate. JJ's here. Let's talk a little bit about what D-Rock had to offer. It seems like everybody's. It's hard to find somebody now that I would say is expecting ETN or Devin Lloyd to be back. Is that fair at this point, would you say?
I think. I mean, I've referred to them as the Big Four, and I put Greg Newsome in there just because he played a lot. But Newsome, Monteric Brown, ETN, Devin Lloyd, the only people that I've talked to, and I've had many guests on locally and nationally, I think Monteric Brown is the one that people believe might come back. Newsome, probably because they don't want him back. And then ETN and Lloyd, probably because they've outpriced themselves, are most likely going to be gone. So, look, there's going to be some change on this roster. And I'll even go a little deeper, Hayes, as I asked D-Rock. You know, whether you're talking about Tim Patrick, Dennis Gardeck, Austin Johnson, DeJuan Smoot, you know, Emmanuel Agba, guys of that sort. There are a lot, Quentin Morris is another one who I know you've talked about. There's a lot of those guys that I would like to bring back as well, but you just wonder if they're going to be able to do that.
Yeah, without a doubt. You asked D-Rock about some extensions for some of their homegrown talent that it's, you know, it's not urgent, but it's getting close to being, it's like on deck. Let's start with Parker Washington. What's your level of confidence that they get something done, and what should that deal look like?
Parker's a complicated one because I don't think you could put the franchise tag on him next year because I don't think you would want to pay him among the top 5 receivers in the league. So that's the one that I hope they get done first, because you could put the franchise tag on Brenton Strange or potentially Trayvon. That would be a nightmare scenario, though, if those 3 guys all at this point next year are going into free agency a week from now. So you got to get something done. I think Parker will get done first. I don't know what the dollars are. I've seen some projections, 11, 12, $13 million a year. We'll ultimately see where that lands. But I'm very confident that they want to keep Parker Washington around. If you're Parker Washington, I don't know why you would want to leave. So I think that will probably be the first one that gets done.
And I would think if you're Parker Washington, you need to get the extension done, because if you don't, God forbid, but if you get hurt in training camp or even in September and it's a serious injury, well, now you're hitting the mark. He really hasn't made big money yet in this league. I mean, he was a late round pick. So, I mean, his rookie contract, probably the whole value of it, what would you guess, $2.7 million?
For a 6th rounder, yeah.
I mean, is probably what he's going to make over those 4 years. So if I was Parker Washington's agent and I was Parker Washington's camp, a lot of it to me would be, if you're happy here, and we talk to Parker Washington a lot. You're in the locker room. I talk to him a lot, and it's clear that he's very happy here. He loves the offense that he's in. He loves now that he has a role that's defined. He's not going to be going into training camp having to fight to make the 53, and then once he makes the 53, hoping to have just some kind of minuscule role in the offense. I mean, he's now a big cog in the offense. But if I was Parker Washington I would be really motivated to get that kind of a deal and lock in the signing bonus that's going to come with that, because if he manages that money well, he really doesn't need another contract. I mean, he probably, obviously, hopefully will get one, but to me, there's always a difference between a late round guy that's made, don't get me wrong, great money for the average person over these 4 years, but money that isn't generationally changing, like signing a 4-year, $44 million contract would with $20 million guaranteed.
Right, and Parker Washington, again, I mean, if you black out the names and just look at the last 5 weeks of the regular season in the NFL and look at the stats, honestly, I don't know how many wide receivers were better than Parker Washington. The guy in the last 4 regular season games in the playoff game did not have less than 87 yards receiving in any of those 5 contests. He was incredible. Now, I guess my question when it comes to Parker's deal, and you might be able to lump Brenton Strange into this too, but certainly Parker, the money that was given to Jacoby Myers, 3 years, $60 million, how does that impact, A, what Parker's reps are going to want, or B, what the Jaguars can allocate to Parker Washington?
Yeah, I think in terms of that, it will be interesting. I'm still curious to see how they get $16 million, figured out to get in cap compliance, because there isn't usually with this organization, there's 2 or 3 guys that have a contract. It's like, well, that's a no-brainer. They'd already be cut. They'd have been cut a week ago to save, whatever tons of space it is, because they signed a free agent to a huge deal. There was a massive disappointment, and after 2 years, you can get out from under it. They don't have that is really in this, this cycle where it's the easy, well, just cut him and there's your $16 million. So it will be interesting to see whether it is a trade. Like the Walker Little thing is interesting if they got the right offer. But you do have Cole Van Lanen coming off of some kind of injury. We don't know the severity of it. So does that at all impact? And we know Liam Cohen and James Gladstone went through that year with the Rams where they just lost all their offensive linemen and just totally sunk their offense that year. Walker Little, somebody if you could trade, obviously that would come with some savings. But they don't really have that guy you can just cut. Now, again, they could just restructure a lot of these deals. But that's interesting because when you start to see who they're restructuring, that gives you a little sense into, well, they think this player is obviously going to be here another couple of years, because it's hard to restructure somebody if you feel like they're in sort of the last year with you, because it just compounds the problem.
I mean, look, I'm not smart enough to know the answer to this. I do know that the Kansas City Chiefs reworked Mahomes' deal, where, I mean, the Chiefs were like $55 million over the cap a couple weeks ago. And the verbiage in Mahomes' deal changed. They did something with the wording and the allocation of resources, and that saved them like $38 million just by doing that. So one would wonder then, Trevor Lawrence, Joshua Hines-Allen, not that they're not going to be here, but is it as simple as doing something like the Chiefs did with Mahomes to one of those guys here in Jacksonville?
Yeah, and that's where you would start at the quarterback position because of the salaries. With Trevor, it's interesting because I just don't know that his big extension has kicked in enough to would have that kind of, cap relief available. But I mean, look, they're going to get under the cap. I'm not trying to sell that they're going to have trouble doing it. They're going to get under the cap enough to where if they decide they want to make a move, I don't think it's going to be anything overly splashy, but they will get in cap compliance. I have no doubt about that. I'm just curious the avenue in which they take to get there.
But that, to your point, off seasons here in Jacksonville last year, even though they didn't bring in a huge name, they brought in a bunch of guys.
Right, like 10 guys.
Day one of free agency was unbelievable.
It will not be that.
Yeah, and we've had that for a couple of years here in Jacksonville. March 9th, 10th, 11th is not going to be that. The Jaguars simply don't have the money to bring in a bunch of guys. And quite frankly, I don't think they need to bring in a bunch of guys. Keep a lot of your guys here, or at least the core guys like the Dennis Gardex of the world. Again, you have 11 draft picks. You get Travis Hunter back. You get Caleb Ransaw back. You get Wyatt Milam and Jalen McLeod back. Those are 4 rookies in last year's draft class that I think played a combined 12 games last year. You get all 4 of those guys back with the 11 picks you have this year. It's not going to be a splashy free agent period veteran-wise for the Jaguars.
Yeah, I totally agree. Well said. When we come back on the Frangie Show, let's get it to Gators basketball. Florida could potentially clinch its 8th Southeastern Conference regular season championship tomorrow night in the O-Dome if they can beat Arkansas and Alabama loses at Tennessee. But regardless, a huge game tomorrow night for the sizzling Gators. We will break that matchup down next. You're listening to 1010XL 92.5 FM.
The Frangie Show from the Harold and Harold studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
There are moments in every life when we're faced with a choice that could change everything.
He's going for it. Great, glorious day.
Choose 1010XL.
Hey, Googans, Hicken here, and I just want to once again give you this very simple reminder. Wear sunscreen. If you're outside a lot, bring the screen. Put some in your truck, on your boat, in your golf bag, whatever, wherever, just use it. Please. It's hot out there, and I just want you to protect yourself. I use it like it's cool because I think it is. But what's not cool, that's skin cancer. You don't want to deal with that. Go get yourself checked out. It could save your life. Go to beachesdermatology.com and schedule your appointment today. That's beachesdermatology.com.
This is Richard Miller with your Showtime Sports Cards and Collectibles Update. It's a card show weekend at Showtime. Saturday, we host our usual monthly card show from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. Then Sunday, it's a non-sports card show, primarily with Pokemon, Marvel, and Disney, 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. Card show weekend at Showtime. Sports cards and collectibles. Update your collection.
All month, 1010XL brings you the stories of African-American leaders who built the bold city. One achievement, one breakthrough, and one act of courage at a time. Black History Month is turned by Instant Keys.
When you're hungry, go big, and more importantly, go to Dailies, where they got anything and everything to tantalize your taste buds and fill you up. At Dailies, our barbecue beef brisket sandwich is slow smoked to perfection, tender, juicy, and full of bold flavor. It's the kind of sandwich that truly satisfies. Try the barbecue brisket sandwich at Dailies. Meanwhile, some favorites never go out of style. The Duval sub at Daly's is stacked, loaded, and made with the bold flavor you want in every bite. Fresh ingredients, big taste. It's a local favorite. Grab the Duval sub today at Daly's. Or maybe you just want a delicious chicken sandwich. Some choices just work. The chicken sandwich at Daly's is crispy on the outside, it's juicy on the inside, and it is full of flavor. Perfect for lunch, perfect for dinner, perfect anytime hunger hits. So grab the chicken sandwich today at Daly's. Daly's is made fresh, it's made local, and Daly's is built for big appetites. I'll see you there today.
Home of the Jacksonville Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
The Jacksonville Icemen are in town for a pair of games this Saturday and Sunday. Saturday, it's Military Night, presented by the Nimnick family of dealerships, as we honor our military, and the Icemen wear special themed jerseys. Then, Sunday at 3, it's a Publix Family Fun Day. Take a shot on goal on the ice after the game. Tickets at Ticketmaster, JacksonvilleIcemen.com, or call 904-602-PUCK. Icemen hockey is #Sub-Zero.
The Players' Championship returns to TPC Sawgrass March 10th through 15th. Experience golf's most iconic stage with enhanced food and beverage offerings, interactive fan attractions, and an atmosphere built for every type of fan. See the best players in the world, including world #1 Scotty Scheffler, 2025 champion Rory McIlroy, and fan favorite Brooks Koepka take on the legendary Stadium Course and the famous Island Green. Tickets available at theplayers.com.
What Major League Baseball pitcher won over 500 games and pitched 749 complete games?
When your homeowner's insurance policy is up for renewal, it's a good idea to shop around to find a better plan. Southern Oak Insurance for over 20 years provides Floridians a clear option. SouthernOak.com.
Our family protecting yours. Southern Oak Insurance.
With 511 wins and 749 complete games, Cy Young's record won't be matched.
Southern Oak Insurance, our family protecting yours.
Hi, I'm Mac with Baker Glass. If you've got fogged up windows, let me help. We'll replace them with clear, insulated units that brighten up your home. People say we're fast, friendly, and reliable. Just check out our Google reviews. Call me today. Baker Glass. No one treats you better.
For 25 years, Instant Keys has been the go-to locksmith service for car keys, transponders, and even high-tech smart locks. For honest, professional locksmith service,
Instant Keys comes to you.
I'm Max Fink with your 1010XL Southeast Orthopedic Specialist local sports update brought to you by Holland Sons Plumbing. Ahead of free agency opening up in March, there's been a trade within the AFC South. The New York Jets have traded defensive end Jermaine Johnson to the Tennessee Titans in exchange for Titans defensive tackle T'Vondre Sweat heading up to New York. Johnson was a first-round pick out of Florida State in 2022 and was a Pro Bowler for the Jets in 2023. It's 68 degrees at 5 o'clock time and temp, brought to you by Bueller Air and Plumbing. Stay cooler with Bueller.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. When it's game time, Farah doesn't flinch.
It's a Big Chief Tire Friday on The Frangie Show. For all of your tires and automotive service needs, it's Big Chief Tire.
You know this one, Hacker?
I've heard it several times, but I have no idea telling you who sings it.
Okay. Hang on, maybe, is this instrumental, JJ?
Yeah, unfortunately, the lyrics
All
don't
right.
pick
It's the
that.
Beastie Boys.
Ah, of course
Yeah,
it
yeah,
is.
yeah.
That was going to be my initial guess.
Yeah. Well, yeah, there you go.
Yeah. I would have gotten it.
There you go. Welcome back to
I would have gotten it. I love
Absolutely.
that.
Welcome back to the Frangie Show. Frank on vacation. He'll be back on Monday. Hacker, kind of enough to been sitting in with us since Tuesday. We certainly appreciate Hacker doing that because you still have your. In fact, we're going to hand off. I hear we're handing this show off to you for your. So you're going 4 hours straight today.
It's going to be the most amazing 2-minute drill of all time at about 5:52.
I'm going to have you get up, leave the room, come back.
Yes. Yeah. Baloo's
We
off
have a
tonight.
protocol.
Yeah. Baloo's off. So I'm in 6 to 8. Looking forward to it. I'm 25% of the way done today.
Yeah, how about that, man? You were a warrior. We certainly appreciate
It's
it.
a
That's
labor
awesome.
of love.
Yeah, yeah. No, I know you. It comes through that your enjoyment of your work comes
Oh, yeah.
through. It's fun to be around. Huge game tomorrow night in Gainesville, Florida, welcoming in Arkansas. Let's start with the Arkansas side of things. John Calipari's there now. They were sort of off to a little bit of a rocky start last year. Then they got hot, made the Sweet 16, kind of the same thing this year. Arkansas doesn't have they have a fine resume. I mean, they're obviously going to be in. They're a top 20 team in the country. But I'm telling you, when you watch these guys, they are dangerous. But before we get into the matchups here, how do you feel about John Calipari? Do you like him, not like him?
I've never had a problem with him like some do. I mean, he has embraced what college basketball has become with NIL and all that. And look, Kentucky, he won, one title there? Yeah. And he had, All-American after All-American after All-American. So he probably underachieved in Lexington. He goes right into Fayetteville. I know some people don't like his tact, don't like some of the things that he does. Me personally, I think he's a symbol of what college basketball has become. He just kind of was beating people to the punch a little bit.
I think he's actually it's become somewhat of a charming story. Kentucky got tired of him. He got tired of Kentucky. And I would agree with you. He definitely underachieved. I mean, the net team they won the national title with, I covered the Gators for the Times Union that year. That's one of the best college basketball teams you'll ever see.
That was AD, right?
That was, yeah. And, I mean, they were unreal that year. But to your point, they always had the most talented teams. And, it just doesn't seem like he's that great of an in-game coach. But I do think Calipari at Arkansas, it's a great fit. It was a wonderful hire by Arkansas, and they're certainly seeing the benefits of it. Look, he can still recruit with anybody in the country. Darius Acuff is an incredible player. If you haven't seen him play this season, he's averaging 22.2 points per game. He's got 174 assists. He shoots the three at a 43% clip. And I'll just tell you, when you watch him, he is smooth. He has it all. I mean, he made some passes the other night against Texas A&M that were unbelievable. And he had kind of a rough night shooting it, but still, you looked at his line, you're like, well, I mean, this doesn't look like a guy that was struggling to shoot the ball. He will be the best player on the floor tomorrow night. Be interested to see how Florida handles him.
As impressive as his 22 points a game is, and it's impressive, he's also averaging 6 assists. When you can score it at 22 points a game per clip, but also get your teammates involved and average 6 assists per game, that just goes to show you the caliber of player that Acuff is. And what's going to be interesting is I would imagine Boogie Flan is going to get that assignment to start the game. Where's Boogie Flan going to be kind of emotionally tomorrow? I don't think he has any ill will towards Arkansas, the team he played on last year. He had some injury problems, and it didn't work out. But we saw Denzel Aberdeen obviously had a little get up in his step playing his former team a couple of weeks ago. You wonder if Boogie Flan, hopefully he doesn't get too high as far as too emotional and that affects his game. But I would have to think Boogie Flan wants to come out and make a little going up against Acuff and his former team tomorrow night.
Yeah, it's a great point. I was looking at last year's box score. Florida played Arkansas once in Fayetteville, and they beat the Razorbacks 71-63. But Boogie Flan in that game for Arkansas played over 34 minutes, had 15 points, 3 rebounds, 4 assists. So a pretty decent game. But yeah, I mean, I would imagine it'll be, I think Aberdeen's a good call. Although Fland was only at Arkansas 1 year and they didn't win, obviously to the level Aberdeen did at Florida. But yeah, I would think Boogie Fland, how could you not be motivated? Plus Boogie Fland is still probably trying to get back on NBA radars. I mean, he almost entered the draft instead of the portal last year. Thought he was, probably in that late first round range, wanted to improve, wanted to become a lottery pick. Well, that ship is totally sailed because he struggled to shoot the ball all season, but he is shooting it better. He has been a great defender for Florida, but this is a big opportunity for him. If he can be kind of the first guy in a while to keep Acuff somewhat in check, which I would say if they can keep Acuff to 16 points and under and like 4 assists and under, you'd sign up for that right now if you're Florida. But yeah, I mean, I think that's a big key to the game. The other thing too, from Florida's standpoint, Florida's star, Thomas Houck, coming off, I mean, I think it's pretty easy to say the worst game of the season for Thomas Houck and what has been an extraordinary year for him in his first year as a starter. But going back to the win that they had the other night, Houck 2 of 6 from the field, 0 for 4 shooting the 3, 1 of 2 at the foul line, 5 points, no rebounds, no assist, 2 turnovers, and he fouled out. So I would fully expect Houck to be at his A+++ game tomorrow night against the Razorbacks. I think he will be the difference in a Florida win.
Yeah, I would agree that Thomas Houck will have a nice rebound game. You could argue Ruben Chinulu is probably looking for a rebound game too, because he did not play very well against Texas. The further you get from that Texas game, the further you realize, wow, they did not get good performances from Houck or Chinulu, and they still won by 13. That's because the guards, Clavshar, Isaiah Brown, and Boogie Flan in particular, were unbelievable. If the guards for Florida play tomorrow night like they did against Texas, Arkansas has no shot.
No chance.
And quite frankly, I'm not sure how many teams in America can beat Florida when their guards play like they did against Texas, because you know how good the front court's going to be. The one thing that's interesting, too, about the front court is Houck and Chinulu were not good against Texas. Condon was a stud. And I think Alex Condon, particularly in the last 2 games, is reminding people why there was All-American talk with him coming into the year. Now, he has not had the year he's wanted either. He's getting considerably better, though. As we get closer to March Madness, Condon's put in 20-plus points the last couple of games, and certainly he's going to have to play a big, big factor against Brazil and those front court guys from Arkansas tomorrow night.
And Condon's a big key, because when Florida struggles with turnovers, Condon is usually the guy leading them in that category, in a dubious distinction. But he has been better of that lately. And he has made some nifty passes. You brought up yesterday Condon's lob to Houck at a pivotal point in that Texas win. So Condon has been showing some good offensive versatility to his game, and he's been obviously scoring at the highest level that he's been at all season. So there's a lot of reasons to like Florida in this game. But I'm telling you, if the game was I'm shocked Florida's a 10.5-point favorite, by the way. I am just absolutely floored by that. I will be surprised if Florida beats Arkansas by 11. I think Florida wins, but I think this is going to be a nail-biter to the very end. And if the game was in Arkansas, I would pick the Razorbacks. But in looking at it, I think this is a game where can Arkansas defend Florida? We know Arkansas can score. They average 90.3 a game. They shoot at an incredibly high level. They're 50% from the field, which is extraordinary. But they aren't a great defensive team. They aren't a great rebounding team. They're plus 1.7 in rebounds a game. Florida is plus 14.1. So I think Florida's balance ultimately will get it done. But I think Arkansas is, I think they could absolutely go to the Elite Eight.
Well, and you need to establish yourself at home tomorrow night. Now, Florida's only lost 1 home game, and it was their worst loss of the year to Auburn. They lost by double digits, I believe. But Florida has just seemingly played better on the road. I mean, they have destroyed people on the road, whereas the home games have seemingly been a little closer. Kentucky was a single-digit win. As I mentioned, you lost to Auburn. So I would like to see Florida at 8:30 on a Saturday night. The Rowdy Reptiles will be going absolutely nuts. They're going to have all day to get fired up. I'd like to see Florida come out and establish themselves early, but I get the sense, and I don't know why I think this, and we'll see what happens tomorrow night. I get the sense Arkansas is going to come out and punch Florida in the mouth. This just seems to me like a game where Acuff's going to come out, hit a couple of early threes. Florida's going to be down 18-12 at the under 12 timeout in the first half, and you go, wait a minute, whoa. So we'll see if Florida responds, because I think Arkansas needs to attack early to give themselves confidence that they can actually win this game.
Yeah, monumental test for Florida. It's going to be a lot of fun to see how they do against the Razorbacks. When we come back on the Frangie Show, let's shift gears. We'll go to Indianapolis and be joined by our good buddy Pete Prisco. Pete's been up in Indianapolis all week covering the scouting combine. We'll get his thoughts on the prospects that have stood out to him so far, and we'll get his thoughts on the Jaguars. You're listening to 1010XL 92.5 FM.
The Frangie Show from the Harrell and Harrell studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
From the opening tee shot to the final putt on 18, track your favorite golfers and get live Southeast Orthopedic Specialist leaderboard updates. Teamed up by
Capital Glass and Shower Doors,
Taco Lou,
and Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors.
Help your loved one fall back in love with his or her home with a home improvement from the professionals at the Lifetime family.
That's right, Nick. Happy Valentine's Day to all the lovebirds out there. What says I love you more than adding additional space with a glass or screen enclosure that will enhance your home's livability, or brand new floors that dramatically improve the look and feel of your home?
That's right. New outdoor living space from Lifetime Enclosures and beautiful floors from Lifetime Flooring.
Come experience the Lifetime difference. Call or visit one of our showrooms today for our Valentine's Day specials throughout February.
Lifetime Enclosures.
Some plumbing companies say they're local, right up until you realize their headquarters are in New York City. At Hall & Sons Plumbing, we're actually from here. Born, raised, and fixing leaks right here in Jacksonville. Hall & Sons Plumbing. Local. Family. Real.
Don't miss the Bari Breakdown with Dr. George Bari on XL Primetime, Wednesdays around 1:35 for the latest in sports injuries from all the big names in the game. Who's MIA? Who's coming back? Dr. George Bari on XL Primetime, Wednesdays at 1:35 on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Like many football fans in Jacksonville, I love defense. Hi, I'm attorney Lee Lockett, and I'm here to tell you that defense in the courtroom is important as well. That's because penalties for DUI are much more serious than penalties on the gridiron. If you or someone you know is facing a DUI, call us for a free case analysis now. Know before you blow. 858-9818. Put my more than 20 years of experience to work for you. Office is Jacksonville, serving all surrounding counties. Call 858-9818 or go to knowbeforeyouBlow.com.
Create a backyard your family will love. Jack's Outdoor Solutions, an authorized dealer of Celebrity Greens, installs PGA quality artificial turf golf greens and complete outdoor spaces. From turf to custom hardscapes, landscaping, and lighting, every project is built for style, durability, and family fun. Locally owned and trusted across Northeast Florida, customers rave about their results. Check their 5-star reviews on Google. Plan your dream backyard today at jacksoutdoorsolutions.com.
Hey, it's Travis from Cannons of Jacks. Thank you for trusting us for 55 years of custom welding fabrication and vehicle towing accessories. When you need a trailer hitch for the family car, a gooseneck for the company truck, or even RV towing options, call us at Cannons. We can do a bumper hitch, fifth wheel hitch, anything for safe, reliable towing. Come to Cannons of Jacks, where service is our #1 priority and we treat our customers as we like to be treated. Check us out online, cannonsofjacks.com.
Hi, this is Dale Murray with Murray Automotive Group in Stark and Kingsland. Save yourself from those big city dealers and their fast-talking mumbo-jumbo. No matter what your automotive need is, we've got you covered. Ford, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, and nobody beats our prices. I mean nobody. Shazam! Plus our exclusive 15-year, 150,000-mile warranty included on every qualified vehicle. And we'll trade anything from high heels to wagon wheels. Compare our prices online at ShazamAuto.com. Then come see me, Dale Murray. I'll be waiting for you. Shazam!
The Brown Family YMCA in Ponte Vedra Beach is better than ever. Come experience our new renovated spaces, including an expanded wellness center with upgraded state-of-the-art equipment, recovery solutions, brand new locker rooms, and the Horsell Center for Health and Well-Being, all designed to help you feel your best. And now you can join with no joining fee. Plus, enjoy your 4th month free. There's no place like this place. And you'll love what's new. Visit the Brown Family YMCA in Ponte Vedra Beach.
Hey, this is Lauren Brooks, and if you think Closets by Design is just closets, you've got to see their brand new showroom at Phillips and Emerson. It's amazing what they can do. See for yourself how they custom design organization for any space. Garages, laundry rooms, bedrooms, even the man cave. It's all about smart storage that fits your lifestyle and budget. Schedule an appointment to meet with a design consultant and tour the showroom for ideas you can see and touch. Start at closetsbydesign.com.
It's Cancer Prevention Month, and Ackerman Urology reminds you to stay ahead of prostate, bladder, and kidney health. Get a yearly checkup, ask about a screening, and make self-checks a habit. To make an appointment at one of 4 locations, visit ackermanurology.com.
1010XL, presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Focus, fueled, fearless, Farah. Here's another call on the 1010XL hotline, driven by Key Buick GMC, home of the lifetime powertrain warranty.
Time for all things Jaguars and NFL with Pete Briscoe. The Briscoe Report, presented by Showtime Sports Cards and Collectibles.
Showtime.
On The Frangie Show.
All right, Showtime Sports Cards and Collectibles has 2 in-store card shows this week. Tomorrow is the 3rd Saturday of the month, so that means the monthly in-store card show is tomorrow from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. Then on Sunday, Showtime has a Pokemon card show from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. It is our great pleasure to welcome in Pete Prisco. Pete, how you doing? You're still in Indy, right?
No, I'm back.
Oh,
I got
okay.
back. I just got back a little while ago. I always leave on Friday.
Okay. All right. How was it? What'd you make of the week?
Look, it's not a great draft, and I think people know that, and at the top particularly. But there were a lot of good performances. I just don't put a ton of stock into the workouts. That's me. I'm a tape. I'd rather watch guys play football. But again, good convention. You know that. You've been there before, and weird not seeing the Jacksonville people there. I did see some of their scouts and stuff, but weird not seeing Tony and Gladstone and Liam there. But teams do it different ways, and they're following kind of what the Rams do.
Pete, you've covered the league, obviously, for a long time. What do you make of that? Because obviously it's been a big story here locally, the fact that the Jaguar contingent decided not to go up there this year.
I don't think it's that big a deal, to be honest with you. But, I mean, there is something to be said about looking a guy in the eye. And I talked to some guys around the league, and they said they like talking to the guy face to face and try and figure it out. But then the other side of that is, you hire all these private detectives and private eyes to go do stuff and find out all the information on the guys anyways. And 9 times out of 10, these kids are so prepped when they get into these, they spend time prepping for these interviews before they even get here, that are really getting the time allotted to kind of break them down and see what they really are. So I can see it from both sides. I understand it. Personally, I'd rather, be able to talk to the guys face to face.
Did you hear anything in regards to Brian Thomas Jr. in terms of other clubs that maybe have viewed him as a potential trade candidate?
Well, that in an ideal world, if they could get a big pick for him, they'd probably trade him. But who's going to give up the big pick? Here's the other part of that equation. It's risky to trade a guy like that when he has that kind of talent, because if he decides that, hey, last year was an aberration, I'm going to get back to being who I am, and all of a sudden he becomes this big play threat down the field, then you look at it and you go, hey, we traded him away way too early. So I get it. That's why you got to be patient with it. If somebody's willing to give him a major pick, like a 1 or a 2, I think they would definitely be open to it and should be open to it. But as far as teams, you heard the Steelers. I think Buffalo would be crazy not to call on that. They need a big play threat down the field, a guy who could run a little bit. I think they would probably be interested. So I think there's going to be teams out there. Now, whether anybody's going to be willing to pony up a 1 or a 2 is a whole nother issue.
Pete Prisco, CBSSports.com, with us here on 1010XL in Jacksonville. Pete, 10 days away from NFL free agency. I think the growing...
Packer, you had to remind me of that already.
Well, I think the growing consensus here, Pete, is that Devin Lloyd and Travis Etienne have probably played their final game in a Jaguar uniform. I know a lot of people do a lot of talking up in Indianapolis. What's kind of the vibe you heard this week about Devin Lloyd and Travis Etienne?
And I've been saying that for like the last two at least month and a half. I think they're both gone. I don't think Jacksonville's bringing them back. And quite frankly, I'm not sure they should bring them back. Not that they're not good players. I just think when you look at the position and the money you'll be paying to that position, is it really worth it? And the answer to that question is probably no, at least not for that team. Devin Lloyd's an off-the-ball linebacker. You have to pay him a boatload. Even if you tagged him, it would be a big number. And Etienne's a good running back, not a great running back, and you're going to be paying him big-time running back money. So I don't think that really is something that they should do, and I don't think it's something that they will do. I think both guys are going to walk off into the sunset. And by the way, I think both guys are going to get pretty good contracts on the market, which is in large part why I don't think they're coming back to Jacksonville.
We now know the Jaguars are playing 2 home games in London in 2026. Now, you always caveat this with at least they're playing 6 home games in Jacksonville, and they're not displaced for 2 years like most teams would be renovating a stadium. But, Pete, from a competitive standpoint, playing 6 games next year in Jacksonville and the rest on the road, how big of a competitive disadvantage is that to the Jaguars in your opinion, or has nutrition and sports science advanced enough with travel that it's not going to be that big of a deal in your mind?
You'd like to play your games in your own stadium, so it's definitely a different situation for them. But remember, they've done that before. It's not anything new for them. I just think, it's better off than playing all those games in Orlando, or, you get to play 6 at home, even though the stadium is going to be smaller. I think that's better for them. But you saw the little hints of that when Liam met with the team a couple weeks, or his coaches a couple weeks ago, and said, hey, we did great stuff in year 1, but year 2 is going to define us. And I think he's already sending the message. It's going to be a little bit of a challenge for them. And it's going to be one of those seasons where they're going to have to be able to handle a lot of adversity, starting with playing 2 games over, in England, and then also having to deal with all those road games and only having 6 home games. I think it's going to challenge them. But hey, if you're a good football team, you'll be able to handle that.
Pete, along those lines in the AFC South, literally every team in the division made some news this week. Indianapolis is allowing Anthony Richardson to seek a trade. We found out that Nick Caserio, the GM for Houston, is saying it's, quote, moronic to think that we would trade C.J. Stroud. And Tennessee deals for Jermaine Johnson to reunite him with Robert Saleh there in Nashville, giving up Tavondre Sweat, their defensive tackle, which I thought was interesting. Out of all that AFC South news over the last couple of days, what stood out to you?
Yeah, I think the trade player for player was because they don't think Sweat fits with what they want to do in Robert Saleh's defense, and they needed to get an edge rusher because their guys are unrestricted free agents. So that might be one of those rare player for player situations that work out for both teams, because I think Sweat's a good player when he's in shape, and it's going to be up to the Jets to make sure he is in shape. I mean, there are stories about him when he came into the Titans where they had to get him down from about 380, and so he's got to stay in shape. But if he's in shape, he's a good player. Also the Jets didn't want to pay Jermaine Johnson. That was part of that, because they're going to ultimately they would end up having to pay him, and they didn't want to do that. So I think when you look at it from the Jets standpoint, it makes sense, and when you look at it from the Titans standpoint, it makes sense. As for the Colts, look, Anthony Richardson, what's he going to do? I mean, where's he going? I don't. He's got to prove to people that he loves the game. He's got to prove to people he can stay on the field. Until then, I don't think there's going to be a real, top end market for him. He's going to be a guy you probably get for a 7th round pick if you do make a deal for him. And then as far as the Texans, look, C.J. Stroud, yeah, it's moronic to say you're going to trade him, but really is it? I heard they really loved what Davis Mills did last year, and Jacksonville fans saw him, what he did to them in the fourth quarter of that game. So, is it really moronic to even talk about it? I can tell you, I think there are teams that have inquired about C.J. Stroud. In fact, I know there have been, and so I don't think it's so moronic, but I don't think they're going to deal him. I think ultimately they'll keep him. Then they got the tough decision. If you keep him, that means you're ultimately going to have to pay him. And if you want to pay him, he better be better than what he was at the end of last year.
You're always on the cutting edge of sort of where the league is going. We've already talked this offseason about offenses needing to not be so scared moving forward. But I saw you or CBS tweeted out a video of your interview with Bears coach Ben Johnson talking about his aggressiveness. What did you take out of that conversation?
Well, it's the same conversation I had with Liam Cohen at the Super Bowl. I mean, these guys got to stop going for it on 4th down in certain situations. That's basically what I told Ben Johnson. He said, "Well, we'll make it more and we'll convert you." I said, "You never converted me. I don't believe in it. I think you take the points in certain situations." And I told him, I said, "Hey, Ben, there were 4 teams in the playoffs. Had they taken the points, I think they would have won their game. One being Jacksonville, they go up 10-0. I think they win that game. Your team, you take the points in some of those situations, you win that game. Then you go to, even the Rams. If the Rams had handled the end of the half situation better from a management standpoint, they probably would have won their game. They also could have kicked a field goal to make it a 1-point game with 4 minutes to go instead of going for it on 4th down. I think they would have won their game. And so Denver goes up 10-0 in that game. In the snow, they win that game. So, they can talk all they want about their analytics and why it should go for it. And it says here, and we study that, we do that. But the reality is, what? It doesn't always work that way. You got it. Sometimes in the playoffs, it's okay to take points and kick a field goal.
Pete Prisco, CBSSports.com. Pete, as we begin to wrap up, the NFL salary cap is set, $301 million and change. Here in Jacksonville, that means the Jaguars currently sit almost $16 million over the cap with 10 days to go before free agency begins. Obviously, some stuff's going to have to happen next week as far as either restructurings, releases. What's your thought on Jacksonville having to get $16 million off their books in the next 10 days?
I mean, you could do whatever you want to do in terms of restructuring contracts. If you want to keep a guy, you can restructure a contract and create room. It's just a matter of if they want to do it. I mean, Ezra Cleveland, what do you do with his deal? Do you restructure it and lower the number? I think that's possible. I think if you want to keep him, that's definitely on the table. You could release a guy or two. What do you do with Armstead? If you let him go, what do you do in the middle? So you got to make that decision. The Trayvon Walker situation, I don't think it's an automatic that people are assuming he's going to get a contract extension. I just don't think that's, definitely the case. At least if I'm looking at it on the surface, would I give him a mega contract for a contract extension? I'd make him wait. And so I just think when you look at it, everybody always assumes that you do this, this, and this, and this. And the reality is they probably won't. But they do have to create cap room. I think it's easier said than done, because I think you can restructure guys if you want to keep them. Now, if you want to get rid of guys, that really helps you. But I don't think you want to get rid of Ezra Cleveland. I think you'd like to restructure that deal.
Pete, what's the buzz on Carson Beck up there? Mandarin product, obviously at Georgia, Miami, coming off a national title appearance. I know he spoke with reporters today, so we don't know anything about his workout and things like that. That'll be tomorrow. But is there any buzz on Carson Beck? Do you have an idea of range, maybe, where to expect Carson Beck to go?
3 or 4. I was talking to a guy yesterday in the league that loves him and thinks he can throw it and will be a capable guy of possibly being a backup that works his way into being a starter. But then you hear from other people that don't like him. And so it's kind of a mixed bag. And I think it's a mixed bag for all those quarterbacks who aren't named Mendoza, which is why you look around the league and desperation is going to be a play in free agency. Malik Willis at $30 to $40 million a year. Are you kidding me?
That's ridiculous.
What are we doing here?
Yeah.
What are we doing in this league? The guy started 4 games. He leaves a bunch of clean pockets. He runs around. He was better throwing it, but is he good throwing it? And so we're going to give him $30 to $40 million. That makes no sense to me. So I think when you look at it from that standpoint, you're going to see some of these quarterbacks get overdrafted, including Simpson. Ty Simpson played. He only played 1 year, and he was hurt the second part of the year. Didn't play very well, and yet you hear back end of the first round buzz for him because teams are so quarterback needy and so quarterback desperate. I'll give you an example. What in the hell do the New York Jets do?
Yeah.
They have nothing. And, I've told guys that I know in that organization, I said, tank, lose, go into next year and you got draft picks next year. You can go get whatever the hell you want in the draft. And next year's quarterback class looks like it's going to be a good one. We never know, but it looks like it's going to be a good one. Why go out and spend money on Malik Willis or trade a second? Because I hear teams are looking for a second-round pick for Davis Mills, a second-round pick for Mac Jones, a second-round pick for the kid in Philadelphia, Bagent in Chicago. They want a second-round pick. If you trade a second-round pick for one of those guys, what does that do next year? That means if you're going to go into the draft and try and get one next year, that means ultimately you're paying a second-round pick for what guy will be your backup quarterback.
Would Kyler Murray or Tua, though, do anything for you, Pete?
Tua does nothing, and here's the only way Tua does something for me is if the Dolphins are willing to give me like a first-round pick to take his contract off his hands. That's it.
Yeah.
I'll take that contract if I have the room for it, and I think there's certain teams I think the Jets have a ton of room. They could do that. You take that contract, and you give me a first-round pick, and I'll take, clears that off the books for the Dolphins, puts it on yours, but you also get an extra first-round pick. That's the way I would do something like that. But he's and I'm talking teams around the league. I don't think there's much of a bunch of people out there trying to get him. Kyler Murray's intriguing. Does in any way, shape, or because you hear that the Cardinals might be going after Willis. In any way, shape, or form, is Malik Willis better than Kyler Murray? And I know the contract's an issue, and the organization might be ready to move on from Murray, but Murray's better than Malik Willis. Are we serious?
Yeah, I agree. It's madness, but I can't wait to see how it unfolds.
Look, I don't want to kill Mac Jones or anything, but did people forget what he was in Jacksonville a year ago?
Yeah. Well, to your point, that road almost never works out, where you're trading a pick for the sort of the journeyman, hoping that they can be a bridge starter. And I'm with you. It just seems like the teams that are in a bad way should just basically try and get through this year and then be in the Arch Manning sweepstakes.
Is that the Sam Darnold effect? Could people think Mac Jones might be the next Sam Darnold, that sort of thing?
Because he went to San Francisco and cleaned up his image and everything. Yeah, look, Jimmy Garoppolo in that system almost won the Super Bowl. Let's you know what I mean. So let's not get carried away with that. I just look, Mac Jones. You guys watched him in Jacksonville. He was awful. You watched him in New England. He wasn't very good either. I just think 1 year you go in as a backup quarterback, you play well. Now all of a sudden you're a guy that you should give up a second-round pick for. I wouldn't. I'll tell you that right now.
Yeah, I agree. Pete, great stuff. We certainly appreciate it. We'll look forward to catching up with you next Friday.
You got it. Take care, guys.
All right. Pete always does a great job. We certainly appreciate Pete Prisco's insights. Again, Showtime Sports Cards and Collectibles is located at the corner of Phillips and Shad Road, and you can find Showtime on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. When we come back on 1010 XL 92.5 FM, we're going to give you the golden moment. We'll react to some of Pete's comments, and again, we'll touch on Todd Golden tomorrow night. Huge opportunity for the Florida Gators to take a massive step towards the SEC title. We'll do that all Coming up next, you're listening to The Frangie Show.
It's the ride home with the Frangie Show from the Harold and Harold studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
There are many ways to experience 1010XL.
The key to this whole thing is their computer.
Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube.
Get me that computer program. Yes, sir.
At 1010XL.
The Purple Heart isn't just a name. It represents service, discipline, and earning trust. At Purple Heart Pools, that standard shows up most in pool renovations. If your pool is outdated or worn down, now's the time to upgrade. So when summer arrives, your pool is ready. From new finishes and tile to decking, lighting, and full transformations, every upgrade is handled with precision and attention to detail. Purple Heart Pools. Pool renovations done right.
This is Hayes Carlion for Harold and Harold. I was at lunch with my good friend Holt, and he was telling me that sometimes a lawyer can get more from a case than their own client. I was surprised to hear this, but Holt said that doesn't happen with Harold and Harold. They'll never take a fee that is greater than their own client. When they say they treat their clients as a person and not a file, they mean it. Hopefully you won't need them, but if you're ever injured, call Harold and Harold at 904-251-1111. That's 904-251-1111.
Frank Frangie here for my friend and insurance agent Craig Dewhurst. Craig has been helping families on the First Coast with their insurance needs for 25 years as your good neighbor and local State Farm agent. Now's a great time to review your insurance policies, whether you need auto, homeowners, or renter's insurance, or insurance for your golf cart, boat, or jet skis. Craig handles all of my family's insurance needs, and even better, he gives back to the community. Call Craig today at 904-940-9740. That's 904-940-9740.
Baloo here for Smunez Vision. Why Smunez Vision? Well, I've been with Dr. Neil Smunez now since I got back to Jacksonville in 2006. 37 years of experience he has. Smunez Vision is a family organization that focuses on personal high-quality medical and surgical eye care. Dr. Catherine Smunez is fellowship trained in cornea and cataract surgery and all refractive surgery. Combined, that's 30 years plus in laser eye surgery. Visit SmunezVision.com today. Here you can see.
Let's get ready to rumble! This Saturday is the River City Rumble. UNF men's basketball welcomes JU to CSI Company's court at UNF Arena. It's a rivalry like no other as JU crosses town to UNF. Be there for one of the biggest sporting events in the city this Saturday at 6. Secure your seats at UNFospreys.com/buy tickets now. UNFospreys.com/buy tickets now. Swoop!
New year, new club. This is Joe C., and I'm proud to be a member of Southampton. And with the popularity of golf, getting a tee time is tough. But with membership comes member privileges. Enjoy clubhouse dining, expanded practice area, focusing on all parts of your game. And right now, you can join with an annual commitment and get a $1,000 discount, plus $500 of Pro Shop credit. All the details are online at golfsouthampton.com or call 287-PLAY and make a tee time today at the Golf Club of Southampton.
Jacksonville, Lacey here from Fourscore. It's game time. The TPC is taking over the town and we're bringing the heat. Closest to the pin simulator battles, drink specials, huge screens, great food, and a full bar. Hosting clients or entertaining your team, let Fourscore handle your TPC party. Private bays, full service catering, and then straight into March Madness. We'll have bracket contests, buzzer beaters, cold beer, and the ultimate watch party vibe. San Marco or Gate Parkway, Fourscore is your headquarters. Visit fourscoregolf.com today.
Daly's Dash is not only your Jaguars game day stop, but a great place to grab a meal any day of the week. To honor the Jags and the fans, we've crafted the Duval Sub. The Duval comes with freshly sliced turkey, ham, melted cheddar, and habanero jack cheese, topped with crisp lettuce, fresh tomatoes, and a double portion of our secret sauce, all served on a fresh roll. Come by your local's Daly's Dash today to get your delicious Duval Sub. Daly's is the official convenience store sponsor of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Still present, ready. Farah doesn't flinch. Now, the Monahan's golden moment. Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach, your local family jewelers.
I can't give the golden moment to crusty sports writers D-Rock and Pete Prisco as much as we enjoy them and their insights, because we had a Harvard acceptee headed to Cambridge. Mandarin's Kyla Skinner, our Scholar Athlete of the Week, super impressive, a track and field superstar. And what an amazing opportunity to go and study at Harvard. And she wants to get into pre-law.
I've been fortunate enough to sit in on a lot of the scholar athletes that you guys have in here every week, and y'all do a terrific job with that. Every time one of those young men or women come in here, you just get more and more impressed. Because I think about what I was when I was 17 or 18 years old.
I think about what I was when I was 27.
Right. And I see these young men and young women. I'm just like, wow, what on earth? It's really impressive.
It really is. So we certainly appreciate Kyla coming in, and certainly congratulations to her as she embarks on what appears to be an incredible academic career at Harvard. Pete had some interesting insights. I thought it was interesting what he said about Carson Beck. 3rd round, 4th round, does that sound right for you? Because I think if I was a team that had a starter that was maybe on the back 9 of their career, a guy that, maybe in 2-3 years I was looking to, possibly move on from, or that player would retire or something, like Carson Beck to me it would be a good pick in the 3rd round, is a guy, a backup that, it's a 4-year rookie contract. He's got all the traits. I think it would help him he's going to be in a position where he can learn. I think Carson Beck in the right environment could have a very nice NFL career.
I'm certainly rooting for him, being a hometown kid here, bringing a state championship to Mandarin. I think Carson Beck is benefited for a lot of the same reason that Ty Simpson is benefited. It's a bad year in the draft for quarterbacks. If this was a normal year, I don't know where Ty Simpson and Carson Beck would go. But because there is a lack of talent at the top, at least, of the quarterback room, I think that'll boost those guys up to where Ty Simpson might end up in the 1st round and Carson Beck might end up towards the latter stages of Friday night.
Yeah, it's really it's going to be fun to see how this plays out, and the quarterback position just seems so wide open. I bet you Carson Beck tomorrow, by the way, puts on a show.
Yeah.
I'm assuming he's doing everything. Why wouldn't you? It's not like you're a top 20 pick.
You have nothing to lose and everything to gain.
Yeah, but I wouldn't be surprised. And again, I know some teams put more stock in it than others, but I wouldn't be surprised if he lights it up tomorrow at Lucas Oil.
Do you like Mendoza? Because I've talked to a lot of draft analysts. I've heard 2 different draft analysts that I've had on say that they believe Mendoza is going to be a Kirk Cousins-esque NFL player.
That's probably what I would say more than superstar.
And Cousins is pretty. You look at Cousins' numbers.
Yeah,
Cousins' numbers are pretty good.
Sure, he's had
made a lot of money.
He's made a lot of money. But
he's probably not the number 1 pick. He's had
a nice career. I think to take a quarterback at 1, you'd like that to be a player that can kind of rise above the X's and O's, and I don't know that Mendoza will fit that. I was really impressed with how he played against Miami, but I think ultimately it's going to be viewed as it just wasn't a great draft. If I was the Raiders, I would take Mendoza 1. But that does not mean that I think Mendoza walks into the NFL and just has an extraordinary career. If I had to guess, I would say almost the ceiling for Mendoza is a Kirk Cousins-esque run.
Mendoza is one of the most genuine, polite kids you'll ever see that's made a bunch of money in NIL. The fact that he's going to, of all places, Las Vegas and getting that much money, does that concern you at all? That, he's going to go there and kind of live it up maybe for the first time in his life?
Yeah, I think he'll be all right. It seems like he's wired the right way. And really, to be honest, since the Raiders have been in Vegas, it doesn't seem like – was the Ruggs thing when they were in Vegas?
Yeah, Ruggs was in Vegas.
So Ruggs, but
that's it.
That's a few years ago. So it seems like they must do a pretty good job of getting it, across to them that really in any city there's going to be temptation, but it doesn't seem like it's become a thing with the Raiders.
He also seems like a really, really guy who's like strong in his faith, and I would be shocked if we found out that Fernando Mendoza somehow had some off-the-field issues.
When I talk to people, I know people that live in Vegas, it's like New Orleans. People that live in New Orleans very rarely go to Bourbon Street. People that live in Las Vegas,
they're not on the Strip.
Very rarely go to the Strip.
Yeah, great point. I will say we didn't get to this, but in terms of looking at the on-field results at the Combine so far, again, we've just had 2 position groups go. Yesterday, the Ohio State linebackers were incredible. Reese and Styles, both sub 4.5. Obviously, they'll go top 10.
And Styles had like the best vertical anyone's ever seen.
Yeah,
apparently.
so some incredible numbers there. Pons today, the corner out of Indiana, seemed like he really lit it up.
Did you see the Georgia cornerback who ran like a 4.3 something? I got.
Oh wow. Okay.
I saw Devin Moore of the Gators ran a 4.5 flat.
Okay.
It's pretty good for him.
And Caleb Banks did well.
Caleb Banks ran a 5.05 at 327 pounds. He came in at like 6'1", 327, and his athleticism off the charts. Any thought that Jacksonville would get Caleb Banks?
By the way.
Yeah. Any thought that Jackson was going to get Caleb Banks at 56 has been erased from my mind. We talked about this earlier. Where would Caleb Banks have to fall before you even think about trading up if you're Jacksonville? I don't know if Caleb Banks gets out of the first round.
I don't think he will. It's just the other thing too that's interesting is it seems like with this offseason with certain positions, like it's bad on both free agency and the draft. And defensive tackle is that, particularly if you're looking for an interior pass rush defensive tackle. And so there's never going to be any of that in free agency because those guys obviously get signed to lucrative long-term deals. But in the draft, it's not a great year for that either. So I would think a player like Caleb Banks, even despite the fact that he barely played this past season because of injury, I almost now think the over-under on Banks, I'd probably put it like 19.5 in terms of where in round one I think he'll go.
You know, Banks, I think, is going to be a really good player. What about the other two Gators that worked out yesterday? George Gums, Tyreek Sapp.
I like
going to
Sapp
have NFL
better.
careers?
I wouldn't think. I mean, more than maybe just the average 3-year career and then out. I'd be surprised. What do you think?
I like Tyreek Sapp. Tyreek Sapp looks like an unbelievable player. He just doesn't always play like an unbelievable player. Whereas George Gums, who Gator fans will forever love for planting the flag in Doak S. Campbell Stadium back in 2024, he had a really great workout yesterday, too. Now, again, I don't think all of those guys are going to work out. I believe Caleb Banks is clearly the best of the three. But I think Tyreek Sapp looks the part. The question is, can he just put it all together?
Yeah, it's going to be really interesting to see how this whole thing develops. When we come back on the Frangie Show, we will wrap it up. Hacker will tell us what he has coming up. We'll talk a little Gators basketball as well. You're listening to the Frangie Show on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
The Frangie Show from the Harold and Harold studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
Streaming live from the XL Digital Studios. Polished by Harbor Dental Care, the locally owned smile restoration experts.
This is Brent Musburger's Visa in Action update on 1010XL. Brought to you by Duck Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic, and Air Conditioning. When you're stuck, call the Duck. Proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Auto racing coming up this weekend. The NASCAR Cup Series will be at the Circuit of the Americas in Austin, Texas. It's the Duramax Grand Prix, one of 5 road course events on the schedule. Shane Van Gisbergen, who won 4 road course events last season, is the betting favorite at plus 115. Connor Zilic plus 380. Christopher Bell, who's the defending champion of the race, plus 1100. William Byron plus 1200. And Tyler Reddick, who's won the first 2 races of the season, is at plus 1600. IndyCar racing the Grand Prix of St. Petersburg Sunday. This will open up the 2026 season. Alex Palou is at plus 340. He's the IndyCar Series champion.
Progressive helping veterans drive their lives forward. More info, keysofprogress.com.
I'm Tony Desiri with your Visa in Action update on 1010 XL.
Fall in love with a new Chevy at Nimnick Chevrolet. Now, right now, you can save up to 20% off a new Silverado or get financing rates as low as 1.9%. Now, unlike most dealerships, Nimnick Chevrolet is the largest inventory on the ground, ready for you to explore. With their extensive selection, you're sure to find the perfect truck or SUV at Nimnick. Remember, Nimnick will always give you top dollar for your trade. So you want an even better deal? Ask about their demo models for deeper discounts. Plus, the best prices of the year are here. Look, you don't want to miss this. Shop online 24/7 at nimnickchevy.com or go ahead and visit the dealership. It's conveniently located at the corner of Park Street and Cassett Avenue. Get over there. You'll be awfully glad you did. So who's got more new vehicles at the best prices? Nobody but Nimnick. Head to Nimnick today. Chevrolet, together let's drive.
David Garrard here. Playing in the NFL can put a lot of wear and tear on your body, especially your knees. Southeast Orthopedic Specialist has kept me mobile and ready to tackle every day.
Southeast Orthopedic Specialist.
This is former NFL quarterback David Garrard. If your knees have taken a beating and you're finally ready to do something about it, then let Southeast Orthopedic take a look. Come on, do your knees a favor.
Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
Northeast Florida isn't just where we work, it's our home. I'm Chris Campione, and when an accident turns your life upside down, you need a law firm that truly understands this community. At Campione Law, we treat our clients like neighbors, not case numbers, and you don't pay a dime unless we recover for you. From semi-truck accidents to medical malpractice and even workers' compensation, we handle it all. Visit CampioneLaw.com. Offices, Jacksonville and St. Augustine.
Count on Campione Law.
Football may be over, but with Hard Rock Bet, there's always something to bet on every night. Hoop, hockey, and so much more. This is Joe C. Don't forget, new sign-ups can double their winnings on their first 10 bets with a max of $50 bets. That's right, your winnings are doubled on your first 10 bets. If you would have won $100, your bet would make $200. Download the Hard Rock Bet app today. It's all waiting for you. Offered by the Seminole Tribe of Florida. Must be 21 plus and physically present in Florida to wager. Terms and conditions apply. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, call 1-833-PLAY-WISE.
Be the first to discover the best new home community in beautiful Green Cove Springs. Highland Trail, where the rhythm of life slows down. Enjoy green spaces, luxury pools, pickleball courts, winding trails, and more at livehighlandtrail.com. Choose from 3 premium builders, just starting in the 300s.
Oh, at Highland Trail.
Don't miss your chance to see LPGA Tour Stars of Tomorrow competing at Atlantic Beach Country Club March 5th through the 7th. It's the Epsom Tours Atlantic Beach Classic presented by Access Golf, and it's the first stop on the pathway to the top 15 ladies receiving LPGA Tour cards at the end of the season. So get out there and watch some high-quality golf, support the ladies of tomorrow. Tickets and information available at AtlanticBeachClassic.com. That's AtlanticBeachClassic.com.
Rick Ballou here with a congratulations for John's Auto. They've been in business in Jacksonville for 40 years. That's right, going all the way back to 1985. Right now, they'd like to thank each and every one of you who's ever gotten their vehicle serviced at John's Auto. So, car, truck, or diesel, all makes, all models, whether it's a routine maintenance or a complete engine overhaul, go to John's Auto on Arlington Road, JohnAutomotiveJacks.com.
1010XL, presented by Farrah and Farrah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. When it's game time, Farrah doesn't flinch. Now, the 2-minute drill is driven by nobody but Nimnicht. Nimnicht Chevrolet on Cassett Avenue and Nimnicht Buick GMC on Phillips Highway.
Hacker After Dark is up next. You've just done 2 hours of the Frangie Show, so why not do 2 more hours? But tell us what you got coming up.
We've recorded the last 2 hours, and this is going to be put on a tape delay from 6 o'clock until 8 o'clock.
Well done.
No, we're going to still talk about the Combine. We got Josh Edwards, CBSSports.com, is up in Indianapolis. We're going to talk Jaguar offseason, talk about the Combine, and just the overall draft class as a whole. And then we will do a little bracketology. Jerry Palm, who's done bracketology for years. I think he said 31 years of bracketology. We'll talk Gator Hoops. We'll talk about the SEC and kind of how the brackets are looking as we are, 2 weeks away from Selection Sunday? That's pretty crazy when you think about it.
Really is.
Selection Sunday will be 2 weeks from this Sunday.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. I can't wait. Do you think the Gators win tomorrow night?
I think the Gators win tomorrow night, but I think Arkansas is going to play well. I think Arkansas has got a lot to prove. They're coming into the national champions' home on a Saturday night. It's going to be kind of a coming out party for Darius Acuff. I bet he's going to go nuts. I think Florida wins, but I think it's nail-biting time with 2 minutes to go.
Yeah, I like Florida too. I'll say Florida wins 97-95.
Ooh.
I think great game, entertaining game. Florida gets it done, but very, very close game and a great game from Acuff, I think, for the Razorbacks. But Golden gets it done over Calipari. Thank you so much for joining us all week. It has been so much fun.
Hey, as always, enjoy it, brother. Thank you for having me.
Oh, sure thing. We really enjoyed it. Frank will be back on Monday. That's going to do it for us. For Hacker, for JJ, I am Hayes Carline. Stay tuned. Hacker After Dark is up next. You're listening to 1010XL, 92.5 FM.